It's the greatest spectacle in motorsport. The Indianapolis 500 is set to kick off in dramatic fashion.
We wait all year for this moment, Lee, and now it's time to go racing. What can Kyle Larson do from the back of the field?
NASCAR Cup champion Kyle Larson attempts the double today. One of the greatest drivers on earth. What can he do in the greatest spectacle in racing?
Kyle Larson is set to embark on a feat that only a handful of drivers have ever completed. The double, the Indy 500, the Coke 600 all in one weekend on one day. Exactly now, as we are ready to do an 80-lap Indy 500 of our own as Kyle Larson. As we get racing here from this Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Scott Dixon leads the field to the green flag into turn 1 over Colton Herta, and as well Elio Castroneves as we come through turn number 1 and towards turn number 2. Of course, IRL, Scott McLaughlin on pole position for this weekend's race with a all-Penske front row, joined by Joseph Newgarden as well as Will Power, while Kyle Larson for the McLaren team will be in the 5th starting position. An incredible feat by, of course, a Indy 500 IndyCar rookie as well, and no stranger, of course, to racing at this circuit and just racing in general. Kyle Larson has such an incredible resume, and clearly it takes just one small ounce of common sense to realize that Kyle Larson is one of the current greatest race car drivers on earth here now, as we have 80 laps to try and take this number 17 Kyle Larson McLaren from the back to the front, and we're up to P29 at the end of lap number 1, just kind of settling in. You see it's a bit chaotic here towards the back of the pack, actually, trying to just play it a little bit conservative now, making sure I don't get myself caught up in any mess. Now we look to the inside of Stingray Rob now, 2 by 2 there up in front of us now, as we're just going to let these guys kind of sort themselves out here. You just don't want to get yourselves into a mess early in this race. A field run in this race here for our car in this iRacing AI race that we're doing is about 30 laps. So we are going to be in a 2-stop scenario as we look to the inside of Linus Lundqvist now on the run into turn 3, but he would stay planted around the top and stay ahead briefly. But here we go side by side again into turn 4. We'll take that position back. Thank you very much. Now as we roll up on the back of a few cars here, we go to the inside 3 wide now, and that'll give us the opportunity to gain another position right there as we're going to pass Tom Blomqvist as we enter turn number 1 into the top 25. Up the track we go. Something you got to be very careful of at this track is the car really likes to wash up, and as well when you're behind another car, the dirty air from them can really throw off your car's balance and basically just make your car straight line in a corner, and you got to be very aware of that, and you just got to be smart in terms of where you're going to place your car here as we're battling with Ryan Hunter-Reay, and unfortunately getting the short end of the stick there, having no slipstream. Linus Lundqvist is able to get back past me, so now we're down to P27 as this battle continues to rage on in front of us, as I'm just kind of settling in, letting things happen here. Now we've got a lot of laps of racing. Cautions, of course, are potential that are going to be coming as well in this race, so I'm not really forcing the issue too much. I'm just trying to pick them off one at a time. We get back past Ryan Hunter-Reay, that puts us into P26, and the battles, I mean, they're raging on around us. A moment for Stingray Rob. We go around the outside now. You got Graham Rahal, who fortunately for him made the show this year, but in quite dramatic fashion again, unlike last year where it was still dramatic, but he missed the show originally. Here's a near race-ending moment into the back just about of Felix Rosenqvist, a big lockup from myself, and of course a stack up on our nose, and fortunately we were able to keep it off and of course continue on. Opening laps of this race, I mean, at least here in the iRacing AI, it's just all about avoiding chaos, keeping your car in one piece, and just, yeah, don't get yourself into any silly situations here. This is actually Tom Blomqvist now, not Felix Rosenqvist that I thought we were battling with. So as we now come out of turn 2, though, we're up to P23 and we're continuing to move our way forward. That's the positive, is we're continuing our way forward now, and you can see just sliding up there in front of Blomqvist, going to the outside of Andretti, who stomps on the apex there, and now we're behind Graham Rahal once again. We'll try to get around Andretti, which we do, and now we'll set our focus in on Rahal here on the exit of turn 4 to the inside, and now an opportunity to pass him down this front straightaway in towards turn number 1. We would continue side by side all the way through turn 2, where we finally clear him on the exit there. So another position gained. Thank you very much. Here now as these battles continue on around this circuit. But I, by the way, am running on the hardest difficulty that is available with iRacing AI, 120, and I was a bit surprised by how not hard it was working my way through the field. You see some moments right there as Will Power now gets overtaken by Alexander Rossi and will exit turn 2. Now we have a big run on the back of Power ourselves. We'll go to the inside, try to take the position here now as going side by side, especially when the tires are worn, it just gets more difficult as the race goes on, but Power doesn't really put up much of a fight. So a very easy overtake now as we'll actually get as well around the outside of Rossi on the exit of turn 4. So there we go, another spot gained on our McLaren teammate to Kyle Larson as we now go around the outside of Connor Daly to the back of Marcus Armstrong there for the Chip Ganassi team. Look in the mirror, look at the run. Rossi with a huge run around the outside to get side by side and clear of us. What a move there from the American driver as we'll settle back in behind him. So up to P17, down to P18 as I just decide to back out of it right here, let things play out now. We're only on lap 12 of 80 at this point. 69 laps to go. We go around the outside of Armstrong there as he was caught off guard by Rossi on his outside, and we just continue to let things play out now as we have a nice run right here, and we're not even halfway really through the field run yet. Now if you're of course leading this race, which Scott Dixon has been doing for the majority of the race, he's been kind of swapping back and forth with Elio Castroneves, but for the most part he has been in front and in command. He is going to have to pit a little bit earlier than the majority of the field. Castroneves probably going to have to be the second one in, and then everybody else is just going to be kind of coming in together now as we are going to clear Rossi for P3, or sorry, not for P3, into turn 1 for P16, and now to the inside of the rookie, unfortunately, who did not make the show in real life. That's Nolan Siegel, as we continue on battling with him actually side by side through 3 down into turn number 4. The rookie putting up a good fight, but it's not enough as we clear him on the exit of 4, putting this Kyle Larson McLaren Chevrolet up another position. Now we enter the top 15 as we start lap 15 of this race. Alex Palou, who looked a little bit off all week in practice for Indy 500 and as well as qualifying compared to what we're used to seeing in previous years from him at this track. Looking a bit off here today as well in the game. He's 14th and now under pressure from myself. Up the inside we go into turn number 3 and we'll try to take the position. Palou stays there on the outside, and usually this is how you find out if a car is strong or not. If you can clear a car like this on the inside, they probably aren't that strong. Now if they're able to hold their own on the top, then of course they've got a bit more fighting power behind them. Now Callum Ilott, we're going to go for the overtake on him, a McLaren teammate into turn number 1. Of course David Malukas got absolutely screwed over by McLaren, just like half the field it seems like these days have been, and as well Tail Portier not doing the oval race, so Callum Ilott behind the wheel. We go past him on the outside there. Thank you very much. That puts us now into P13, and here is finally Felix Rosenquist up the inside of the Meyer Shank machine into turn number 3, and you can see just ahead you got Marcus Ericsson as well as Ed Carpenter. Rosenquist holds on, but on the exit of turn 2 a lap later he slows up on the exit of the corner. We take the spot there, and then for P11 up the inside of Ed Carpenter for that spot, and we're gonna take it pretty easily. Hold on, no, he's gonna fight back around the outside and get clear for the position, so he maintains for now as we continue to just lurk behind waiting for the right opportunity. A big stall on the exit of turn 1. We slice one up the inside. We take the position into P11, 20 laps into this race, and it's just been going forward all race long. Kyle Kirkwood has been dropping back. Ericsson's been going forward, passing cars just like I've been doing, and now we find ourselves engaged in battle with Kyle Kirkwood as we start to close in on the first pit stop of this race. Big run on the back of Kirkwood. To the inside we go, wheel to wheel. Do we have enough speed to clear him? Not quite, so we fight again side by side into turn 1. He stays ahead. Into turn 2 we swap roles. Kirkwood to the inside, myself to the top. He backs out of it, around the outside we go, and there we go, officially inside the top 10 here from Indianapolis, trying to run down Marcus Ericsson now as I was starting to find the car understeering a little bit in some of these corners. When that happens, you want to adjust the weight jacker. So I would essentially go to 0 clicks on the weight jacker to 5, and it would make a heck of a difference. We're starting to work our way even further forward now. Another pass complete there. That puts us into P9, and look at this. There's Joseph Newgarden going backwards as Ericsson continues on forward, as it's Scott Dixon still out in front. You see the gap to second and third. Castro Neves, Rinus VK, Award, Herta, and then of course you've got a few more spots down. Myself just lurking behind, letting things play out here now, as Marcus Ericsson looking for another pass here into turn number 1. He's going to be unsuccessful this time, so hold on to vulnerability. Now, I was thinking about going forward there, but I back out of it, just letting things kind of play out and wait for things to happen, I should say. Now, as we continue to follow Ericsson, and at this point I decided we're going to follow him until we hit the pit window, because we are very close to hitting that pit window. You got Christian Rasmussen just in front of Ericsson, but Scott Dixon now coming in. He has had no slipstream pretty well the whole run, so no fuel saving for him, and into the pit lane he goes. He'll be the first one. Castro Neves, I'm sure, going to be following within another lap or two, but I just continue to chill right here for a minute behind Ericsson. Show the nose, but not actually going for anything here, so just letting things happen. Castro Neves pits at the end of lap 30, so there's your kind of idea to expect probably the majority of the field coming in the next lap or two. And sure enough, out of turn 4, a lot of cars pitting, including myself. We have the first pit stall now as we slow down to the 60-mile-per-hour pit lane speed, and here we go into our box. A very slow but steady and calm, safe entry. They'll take off those Firestone tires, put on another set. Of course, only one tire compound when it comes to oval racing in IndyCar, whereas the road courses you see 2 tire compounds. This Blackwell tire, which has a little bit less grip overall but lasts longer, and then you of course have the red striped Firestone tire, the alternates they're called, that have more grip but they don't last as long. We gained great time in the pits. We just passed Colton Herta as well as Christian Rasmussen, so a huge gain actually. We might be in the top 5. Once this pit cycle is complete in another lap, basically, we're going to have to come around 2 more times to really know where we're going to be settled in, but it's looking good. Scott Dixon is back to the lead of this race here. Now, as we continue out of turn 4, coming to the line, this is where we're going to settle into our actual position at this point, which in fact was in the top 5, P4 to be exact. Here, lap 34, but the caution is going to come out for the first time here today in this 80-lap race just before halfway, and the reason for caution is debris. A debris caution here in Indianapolis, gonna set everybody up to get them ready to go back racing here. And actually made a mistake and I accidentally had double file restarts turned on, as you can see here. So if we have any more in this episode though, they will be fixed to the single file.
It's been a calm race so far, James, but one caution is all it takes to spice things up.
This is far from over. VK and Dixon both look strong, but Kyle Larson is up here in the mix. Let's see what he has to show.
Our first restart of the day here in Indy. Let's go back to racing.
Rinus VK just got the lead before the caution came out. Nobody pitted under that sequence of cautions. We cannot make it from here if we pit now, but we're racing again. We slot in behind our teammate there in the McLaren Aero machine from Mexico, Padua Ward, as the New Zealander of Scott Dixon keeps it pinned around the outside as he tries to maintain second place. We continue on just behind, settling in, not really going for anything, aggressive or forcing anything. We found ourselves in a fortunate position just before the halfway point, but now Colton Herta getting the elbows out. He goes around to a 2-for-1 special on myself as well as Award. Castro Neves just behind as we continue to just settle in behind our teammate of Award, who's really not showcasing as much speed as I expected. So now a little bit tired of riding behind him already. So I look to the inside, not able to make anything happen immediately down this front stretch. So we stay put behind him, but now we were side by side up the inside into turn number 3. There we go. We take the 4th position back. Colton Herta, Scott Dixon, 3rd and 2nd. Rinus VK out in front. He actually won this race in my IndyCar career mode, which you can watch if you're new to the channel. But now to the inside of Herta into turn number 1, and this is hopefully a position on the way, but no, he's going to keep it around that outside again. Herta not making it easy now in that Andretti machine. We continue. There we go. Clear. And of course now the highest running McLaren. We are in this 3rd position as Award Ward continues to just kind of hang on there in that 5th position. But now, as we come to the halfway point of this race, we have a big gap on 4th and a big run on Dixon and VK, who were just battling. Here we go to the inside and to the lead. Kyle Larson's number 17 McLaren to the lead of the Indianapolis 500 here in 2024, as we look to hopefully turn this into reality on Sunday afternoon. What a moment it would be if Kyle Larson not only can, lead laps, but lead them legitimately. You can lead laps during a green flag pit cycle. There's nothing really impressive about that, but if you can legitimately drive your way into first place and lead these laps, that would be awesome. The battle's, however, not over. Is actually clipped the grass there with the left front a little bit. VK back around us to the outside, but this battle is going to rage on. We're all right here together. Myself, Renus, VK, Scott, Dixon, 1, 2, 3, keeping things interesting now. But back to the lead we go, as myself and VK eventually would kind of start to separate ourselves from Scott Dixon, and now here comes VK up my inside. Now at this point is actually I scraped the outside wall right there, just a complete misjudgment. We get very lucky. There's no damage done to the car in that hit, so we're free to continue on and get the elbows out and scrap it out with Renus VK. Now we pass him into turn 3, and this battle just continues on. We just kind of swap back and forth here every lap, it felt like. Now lap 45, 36 laps of racing to go, and this time actually getting way out of the groove. Not what you want to do right there, but the battle still, it ain't over, because this slipstream, it is so significant that you can just get right back up in there and pass VK right back and take the lead now. So again, to the lead of this Indy 500 we go, and I think we're going to find ourselves engaged in this kind of battle probably for the rest of the race. We're not terribly far away as well from our second series of pit stops, and that will be a very important series of pit stops. Now we slide on the exit of turn 4 and we save it. We keep it going in the right direction, but that was nearly the end of our race here. Now as I clip the inside grass again, a little bit too much on the left side tires there. Obviously you don't want to touch it all, and obviously that threw the car out, and you'll see a replay right here. Yep, I mean, you do not want to do that, and fortunately we get very lucky to save it and continue on. No caution and some work to do to move our way back forward, and it starts with repassing Joseph Newgarden to get back into the top 5. Our race is far from over. We know we got the speed here in this number 17 Aero McLaren, but this battle with Newgarden is certainly not going to be an easy one. As the tires get older, it is more difficult to get these passes done on cars that you might have been able to easily pass earlier in the race here now. But a huge run on the exit of 4. Newgarden stays left. There we go. We take the position, and now into P5 with the slipstream from our teammate of Pato Award. We chase him down here to lap 55, coming up at the line, and now a run to the inside of that black and orange Aero branded McLaren. Here we go for that 4th position this time around. I don't think Award is going to make it easy. He keeps it around the outside, stays ahead now as we continue to follow and chase. Now up the inside again, but now he's got the slipstream from Colton Herta in that 3rd position, so I couldn't quite clear him, and actually on the exit of turn 1, getting into the outside wall again. So that's the 2nd time in this run that we've gotten into the wall, and I kind of just took a few moments to kind of settle down, but you see Award with an awkward moment, and now a free pass around the outside, and now as well on top of that, a big run to the back of Colton Herta, and you can see just in front of him, now as he slows up, we pass him, but Dixon is right there with VK again, as we had to slow up big time to make sure we didn't hit the wall on the exit of 2, and that brings Herta right back into the battle, side by side again down this backstretch into turn number 3, but we have the advantage on this outside. We keep it pinned. Herta has to concede and gives a position up into P3 we go, and we quickly run down VK and Dixon, who just can't get away from each other, and of course as they continue to do these battling with each other, it just allows me to close right up on them, and it just kind of, it's like you're on easy mode at that point now when they start battling. So here we go. As you can see, we are still understeering really hard, and I didn't want to adjust the weight jacker too much more, but Dixon out of the groove in 1. Here we go. 21 laps to go at the line, and now we clear Scott Dixon, washing up the track still a little bit, and that's going to allow him to try and fight back to the inside, but he didn't have enough here. Now We maintain P2, and now we have run down Rinus VeeKay. We are back. It took us a handful of laps, but we're here and ready to battle. To the inside we go. Lap 60 of 80 in this race, and clear into turn 1 for the lead again of this Indianapolis 500. Kyle Larson's number 17 back out in front here as the pit stop cycle is about to kick off here momentarily now, as I was just kind of waiting for the moment at the top of the screen. It'll say when the driver's pitting on that lap, so I was just kind of waiting for that to come up. Nonetheless, I mean, we're still engaged in battle right here with VeeKay, who gets to my outside, and here you can see at the very top of the screen is he's going to go around the outside, but they're all coming into the pit, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pit this lap, just pit on the same lap, and kind of make it almost a fair fight, you know, a straight up fight I should say here now, as we got to go down to 60 miles per hour, and we get it slowed up here into the pit box. A little bit quicker of an entry now, as there also is a very minor bit of damage to repair on the car, so we're going to get held in the pit lane for an additional second or so, 7.5 seconds here now, as we get back up to that 60 miles per hour. But watch this up ahead, VeeKay out quite comfortably in front of us, and Dixon, however, we stay ahead of him, but now we've got to run down Rinus VeeKay. Can we run him down? Do we have enough speed without any actual slipstream help to actually go run him down? We're about to find out. Look on the relative on the bottom right, the gap 2 seconds, now 1.9 seconds to Rinus VeeKay, so I think the answer is we might have something for him now. Let's continue to watch that gap. It stays at 1.9 seconds through turn 1 down into turn number 2, 1.8. We are closing, and it would be down to 1.3 seconds as we come down this run straightaway now, and we're about to have his slipstream as everybody else currently making their pit stops now, as well as we're going to see some cars stretch it a little bit longer. Look at this, Elio Castroneves coming out just now. Actually, a great sequence from him. He's in front of Dixon currently, but Scott Dixon's probably going to run him down and pass him. Joseph Newgarden still on the track. He finally pits here, as you can see us all coming around these cars now, as VeeKay still just in front here now, and there's Colton Herta exiting the pits, and actually Pato O'Ward has gotten past all of us. How has he done this now? More cars in the pit lane at the end of lap 65. It's now 15 to go, and O'Ward losing a spot to VeeKay. Will try to go up the inside, and Dixon's here as well, and into the wall. Scott Dixon crashes into the outside wall and destroys the suspension on the right front of that car. He slides back on track, and the caution is going to fly with 15 laps to go here on the Indy 500. Looking at the onboard, just understeer galore into the outside wall, destroys the suspension on his Chip Ganassi Honda, as now we run P4, but it is going to be P3. Catherine Legg was out in front, but she still has to come in to the pits here, as it will get ready to go racing for maybe the final restart.
It all comes down to this. The closing moments of the Indy 500, it'll be about a 10-lap sprint to determine a winner.
A shock to see that mistake out of Scott Dixon. He'll have to wait another year to try and get his second 500 win. He appeared to be one of the favorites today.
Who do you got, James, VeeKay, Larson, or someone else?
I'm going with Newgarden to go back-to-back here. He is in prime position and looking strong as the laps go on. He will be a threat.
This prestigious Indianapolis 500, the greatest race in the world, comes down to a 10-lap dash here in this 2024 edition, as now 10 remain. Can we make it happen from P3? Pato O'Ward, we know we're faster than Pato O'Ward. We're probably going to be faster as well than Rinus VeeKay, but the thing is, we know we're not going to quite be able to escape the slipstream. O'Ward to the lead of the 500 as we exit turn 2, but the slipstream is in favor of us in this Kyle Larson machine. All the way to the grass and clear. A 2-for-1 special, just like earlier. Here's Newgarden. He goes from 4th to 2nd as well. VeeKay from the front to the now 4th position. O'Ward in P3, and now we try to run away, coming to 9 laps to go in this Indianapolis 500, but it's not going to be easy. We're going to now have to fight with Joseph Newgarden if we want to win this race. 9 laps to go. O'Ward now showing the nose up the inside of Newgarden and into the outside wall. Rinus VeeKay scrapes it there, but it looks like he's gotten away with one. No actual damage done to his car, so he continues on. And unlike Scott Dixon, of course, did the exact same kind of thing, but he destroyed the right front instead. VeeKay gets off quite easily with that, and now it's all about just kind of holding on. But the question is, what's going to happen here? Newgarden is all over the back of me, but he's not necessarily looking for an opportunity currently to overtake. He's just kind of chilling there, to be honest with you, and I was kind of, questioning his exact ideas here of how he's planning to go about this now, as we're on lap 75 of 80. We're running out of time quickly. Does Newgarden have something up his sleeve, or is he just going to ride behind us here now, as there's now Kyle Kirkwood going through into third and trying to bring Pato O'Ward with him, but VeeKay would at least stay ahead of O'Ward using the outside. So Kirkwood trying to insert his name into battle now as we go down through turn 2, and here goes Newgarden. Actually have to check up a little bit there just to avoid that understeer now, but we're okay. Newgarden just can't quite get there now, so we stay ahead. We power back forward in the lead of this Indy 500, but Newgarden now, here comes Kirkwood, and actually as Kirkwood got to him, it kind of pushed him forward and up the inside, and now clear. Joseph Newgarden takes the lead, coming to 3 laps to go of this Indianapolis 500 here in 2024. But now we have the run back to the inside. We're even going to lead the lap still now, and we'll clear him for benefit into turn number 1. Look behind as well in the mirror. That's Kirkwood up his inside, but he's not going to be able to make it stick, so Newgarden maintains second in these closing moments. 2 laps to go in this Indy 500, and Newgarden is right there ready to pounce as we come through turn number 3, getting the car a little bit low there. We did that earlier. Newgarden with an opportunity to look in the background. Kirkwood has dropped VeeKay back into P3. Awards all over the back of Kirkwood himself, and we're coming to the final lap of the Indianapolis 500, and it's not game over yet for VeeKay, who has a huge run. We go protective into turn 1, making sure he can't go up the inside, but while doing that, Newgarden to the outside, and here comes Kirkwood again as well. VeeKay fades to 4th. We keep this McLaren on the inside, planted full throttle side by side with Joseph Newgarden, who attempts to go back-to-back Indy 500 wins in 2023 and now 2024, but we're wheel to wheel into turn 3. Who's going to get back here first? Is it going to be Kyle Larson in this McLaren, or Newgarden in the Penske Chevrolet as we come through turn number 4, still side by side down the front straightaway? It's going to be a drag race in the greatest spectacle of motorsports. To the line, it's a photo finish, but it's Larson. We get Larson, the Indianapolis 500 win by 2/1000ths of a second. Unbelievable fashion and way to win this race in this McLaren. What a spectacle, what a race, and we can only dream of a finish like that in real life. And we'll probably never see anything like that for the short future. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. That was an absolute blast. Kyle Larson is officially, at least in the iRacing IndyCar game, a 2024 Indy 500 champion. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.